From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. German Federal Defense Minister His Excellency Boris Pistorius on Monday paid a courtesy call to Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. in Malacañang Palace. This is the first ever visit by a German defense minister to the country, as the Philippines and Germany mark 70 years of diplomatic relations. Earlier, Department of National Defense or DND Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. and German Federal Minister of Defense Pistorius held a bilateral meeting, as both nations have committed to sign a defense cooperation agreement this year in a show of unity to stand for the international rules-based order in the Indo-Pacific region. Secretary Gilberto and Pistorius committed to establishing long-term relations between both nations' armed forces to expand training and bilateral exchanges, explore opportunities to expand bilateral armaments cooperation, and engage in joint projects. In a press briefing, Secretary Teodoro said he is looking to engage Germany as a possible supplier to modernize the country's military to bolster its defense security. Teodoro said these are in the command and control, anti-access aerial denial, maritime domain, aerial domain, and in higher technologically capable equipment.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has congratulated Filipino gymnast sensation Carlos Yulo for his historic double gold victory in the 2024 Paris Olympics. On Sunday evening, Yulo ruled the vault final event to cop his second gold medal in Paris after a gold-clinching performance in the floor exercise event on Saturday. Yulo is the first Filipino to win multiple gold medals in a single Olympics. In a social media post early Monday, the president expressed elation for Yulo's feat. Aside from Yulo, female boxers Nesty Petesio and Ira Villegas are already assured of Olympic medals after qualifying in the semifinal round of their respective weight classes. World number 2 pole vaulter E.J. Obiena can make it 5 medals when he takes on the men's pole vault final early Tuesday. Meanwhile, hurdlers John Cabang and Lauren Hoffman are still in the running to qualify for the finals via the repechaje. The 2024 Olympics marks the Philippines' 100th year of competing in the Games and potentially the country's most successful stint ever. In the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, Team Philippines won 4 medals, with 1 gold courtesy of weightlifter Heidelin Diaz, 2 silvers, and 1 bronze medal. In the meantime, Philippine senators congratulated Yulo on his historic feat. Senate Committee on Sports and Youth Chairperson Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo said, Yulo's win gives great pride to the Philippines. According to Go, this only proves that if the whole country supports its athletes, they will reach far and beyond. Senator Lito Lapid, for his part, emphasized that Yulo's life story is proof that hard work and dreams will power your future. Senator Nancy Binay thanked Yulo for showing off the Filipino potential. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, meanwhile, said the government should make sure that the next generation of athletes in the country be given proper support in order to succeed in the world stage. This can be done, Gatchalian said, through the creation of the National Academy of Sports, or NAS. Earlier, House Speaker Martin Romualdez recognized the Pinoy gymnast as a sports hero and national treasure after defeat. Congress earlier said Yulo will receive an incentive of 3 million pesos and will be awarded with a congressional medal. Romualdez said Kaloy has earned this reward through sheer hard work and unmatched talent. For athletes that will bring home the silver medal, Congress will give them 2 million pesos and 1 million pesos to bronze medalists. Speaker Romualdez also expressed his support to Pinay boxer Ira Villegas, who already secured a podium finish and is a native of Tacloban City in Leyte Province, the same city where the House Speaker is from.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Sunday announced that Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has appointed several officials in various agencies and commissions, including senior officials of the Department of Education, or DepEd. In a social media post, the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, bared the appointment of Peter Irving Corvera, Traigve Olivar, and Meljon Versosa as undersecretaries, and Malcolm Garma as Assistant Secretary of DepEd. Former Senator Sonny Angara officially took over DepEd on July 19th after Vice President Sara Duterte stepped down. Urduha Alvarado, Francesca Noel Huang, and Amante Liberato have been appointed members of the Career Executive Service Board, while Roberto Diciembre was named Executive Director of the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board, or MTRCB. Meanwhile, Teresita Mabunay was appointed Provincial Agrarian Reform Program Officer 2 of the Department of Agrarian Reform, or DAR, as well as Crispian Lau and Dwight Hilarion Ramos as members of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR National Solid Waste Management Commission. The new appointees also include Kenneth Cobonpue as private sector representative of the design domain of the Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, Philippine Creative Industries Development Council. Crizaldo Nieves as Administrator 3 of the Office of Transportation Security, and Jose Mejia as member of the Supreme Court of the Philippines Judicial and Bar Council, representing the private sector. The PCO likewise announced the appointment of Anastasia Notarte, Maria Eden Piadoso, and Lilia Portales as members of the Professional Regulatory Board of Agriculture of the Professional Regulation Commission.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang over the weekend released the list of newly appointed ambassadors and officials in different government agencies. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. reappointed Amable Aguilos V as Special Envoy of the President to Japan for trade and investments based on the roster of the latest batch of presidential appointees posted by the Presidential Communications Office or PCO. Aguilos, founder and chairperson of the AMA Group of Companies, first assumed the diplomatic post in April of 2023. The President also designated Daniel Espiritu as Philippine Ambassador to Ireland and Marcos Lacanilao as Special Envoy on Transnational Crimes. President Marcos named Agnes Tolentino as the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA Assistant Secretary, Marie France Tiatco as the Department of Transportation or DOTR Assistant Secretary, and Richelieu Raymond Remandaban as Assistant Director General of the National Security Council. The Chief Executive also tapped Winston Castelo as Chairperson and Board Member, and Maria Blanca Kim Lokin as President, Chief Executive Officer, and Board Member of the Philippine Pharma Procurement Incorporated, and Robert Bastillo as President, Chief Executive Officer, and Board Member of the Small Business Corporation. Ricarte Padilla was appointed Chairperson of the Regional Development Council in the Bicol region, while Anthony Alcantara was designated as Executive Director of the Philippine Center on Transnational Crime. President Marcos Jr. appointed Victoria Recchio as Board Member of the People's Television Network Incorporated, representing the government sector. Micaela Sofia Rubio as member of the National Tripartite Industrial Peace Council, representing the employers sector. Maria Gabriela Concepcion as member of the National Authority for Child Care, and Arnold Atienza as acting board member of the Food Terminal Incorporated. In the Philippine Rice Research Institute or PhilRice, John De Leon would serve as Executive Director, while Ariel Dolores would join as a board member representing the farming sector. President Marcos also named Fernando Prieto as a board member of the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board or MTRCB, and actress Gladys Reyes Somero as a member of the Appeals Committee representing the television industry. The President also appointed Rosemary Rafael and Evelyn Uy as new members of the Philippine Commission on Women. Rafael would represent the labor sector, while Uy would serve as representative of the farmers and fisherfolk sector. Mario Espinosa, Elio Ildefonso, and Fernando Siringan were tapped as acting board members of the Philippine Reclamation Authority. Luis Carlos was named Postmaster General and CEO of the Philippine Postal Corporation. He would also serve as a board member along with Noel Dacasin. According to the new list of presidential appointees, Michelle Bonifacio and Jose Ruben Tolentino were appointed as members of the Sangguniang Panlusod in the cities of Angeles and San Juan, respectively. President Marcos likewise appointed Laura Erin Padua as Acting Register of Deeds 4 at the Land Registration Authority and Aldrin Abila as Police Colonel. Holding the Director 4 post are Marion Ivy Dicena, Technology Application and Promotion Institute; Ridwan Haji Mudin, Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD; Filorita Ridao at NEDA; Cherry Pie Felice Maraya, Presidential Management Staff; Thelma Vecina, Local Government Academy; Grace Baluyan, Trade Department, and John Aris Macaspak and Rudilia Parel, Budget Department. Other officials holding the Director 4 position were Amilita Pangilinan, Ferdinand Salcedo, and Paula Paz Sidyonko at the Department of Health or DOH. Juan Jovian Ingeniero, Araceli San Jose, and Dennis Villaseñor of the Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG. Lormelin Claudio of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources or DENR, Emeline Talabis of the Land Management Bureau, and Salustiano Jimenez of the Education Department. Completing the list of newly appointed officials were Soraya Ibrahim of the Public Works Department, Director 3, Orlando Ong Soto, Director 2 of the National Meat Inspection Service, Elinieta Herondina Maria Victoria Gamolo, DOH Director 3, Joden Lucero, DILG Director 3, Oliver Leonardo, Securities and Exchange Commission Director 3, Aline Magalong, Commission on Higher Education Director 3, Ferdinand Felicen, Director 1 of the Information and Communications Technology, and Angelina Carrion and Kadafi Tanggol of the Career Executive Service Board.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine House of Representatives on Monday is set to start its budget briefing for the 2025 National Expenditure Program or NEP. First to face the Congress will be the Development Budget Coordinating Council or DBCC. According to House Appropriations Vice Chair Stella Kimbo, DBCC will particularly present macroeconomic assumptions that was used as basis for the creation of the whole 2025 national budget. Among included is the growth forecast, inflation, as well as budget deficit. Meanwhile, House Speaker Martin Romualdez assured that the budget of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. will address the development of the country as well as solve problems facing Filipino citizens. The House Speaker added that lawmakers can do multiple tasks while deliberating on the budget, doing other legislative work, and even join the Bagong Pilipinas Serbisyo Fair because legislators are hard-working.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Philippines Department of Migrant Workers or DMW over the weekend reported that the 3 remaining Filipino seafarers from the Portuguese-flagged MSC Ares seized by the Iranian authorities while passing through the Strait of Hormuz in April have returned to the country. The 3 were among the 4 Filipino crew members of the vessel. One was released in May because of health issues. In a news forum in Quezon City, DMW Secretary Hans Leo said they arrived home on Thursday. Kakdak thanked the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA, the ship owner, and of course, for allowing them to get back, adding that even the Iranian government helped. The Islamic Revolution Guards Corps Special Naval Force seized the Portuguese-flagged MCS Ares between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, saying it was linked to Israel. The ship had a total of 25 crew members. Meanwhile, Secretary Kakdak said that the appeal for the release of the 17 Filipino crew members of the Houthi-seized MV Galaxy Leader in Yemen, especially the 3 who were hospitalized and are exhibiting malaria symptoms, were in the works. Kaklak said the 3 sick sailors are currently in a hospital while the other 14 are still on board the vessel. On the immediate release of the 3, he said, it is something that is still in the works. The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, earlier informed President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. about the condition of the 3. It confirmed that the Sana'a government in Yemen has provided necessary medical assistance. Sana'a, whose authorities control the Houthis, is the capital and the largest city of Yemen. Based on a DFA memorandum dated July 30th, the Sana'a government affirmed that negotiations and discussions are plausible for their fate and possible release. The Houthi hijacked the Bahamas-flagged MV Galaxy Leader near Hodeidah in November of 2023 while it was sailing for India and held hostage its 25 crew members, 17 of whom are Filipino nationals. The group has since launched numerous drone and missile attacks on ships transiting the crucial shipping channels of the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. Since the October 7, 2023 conflict between Israel and the Hamas broke out, the Philippine government had already repatriated 1,100 Filipinos from various parts of Israel, Lebanon, the West Bank, and Gaza.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.820 MHz, and 12.010 MHz. You can also visit us at our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.